Okay, good evening, and it's a Wednesday evening. It's miserable outside and dark, and I got asked some questions from V Rossi. I don't think it's the V Rossi, but maybe he's moved to southern Britain and is enjoying the climate. I think in the Lancing area. Shoreham Lancing area maybe. Anyway, V Rossi asked me some questions and I was going to answer him, and then I thought I'd do a video. Or her, might be a her, I don't know. I thought I'd do a video because he asked about, or her, Mediocre, which is my 2003 GSXR 1000, that's 1000 or 1000. GSXR, yeah, it's my GSXR 1000, which obviously I've done a few bits too. I know I've done videos like this before, but somebody's asked some questions and I like talking about my bike, so here it is. Okay, so one of the questions was the headlamp. That used to be called a daylight maker. There's trade descriptions for you. A daylight maker on eBay. Now it's a, I don't know if you can see that there. It's a 7-inch LED motorcycle headlight projector high-low beam DRL light. 29 quid. Almost all gone. I've saved that on my eBay because I was going to do a twin headlamp setup, but I don't think it's going to be quite right. Still, anyway, I'm doing a camper van at the moment, so I haven't got time for the bikes at all, which is disgusting. But yes, that's off of eBay. And there's 2 bolt holdings at the back there, and then just wired into the lighting loom. Made my own brackets, nothing fancy. Didn't want anything fancy, so I didn't do anything fancy. Just on the handlebar brackets. The handlebars are actually part of an ABM handlebar conversion kit, which gives you what did it give me? It gave me the handlebars, I know that. I had to get the cable done myself, the clutch cable done myself, and then they give you the brake line, which is still just a hop over system. It's not twin lines from the reservoir, master cylinder, Dewberry. But they are ABM, not Rentals. I thought they was Rentals. That's what you asked. And they are low rise and 29.5 inches across. Say 30 inches at their widest point, end of handlebar to end of handlebar, so that doesn't include any bar ends. I've got the bar end indicators, which aren't the brightest in the world, but nor am I, so that's okay. Yeah, so 29.5 inches, say 30 inches across, which, as you saw in the video you watched, are ideal for filtering. Made my own mudguard with a Chinese English wheel to assist me, and a sandbag somewhere up there. My sandbag, hammer shit out of it. What else? Tanks all my own paintwork. That took a long time, and I'm terrified every time I fill up with fuel. But it's been, I think it's a couple of years now, and I give it hybrid Kamukafishurch Einfach und Unkomplonkoklunch, which is a ceramic coating. There you go, hybrid ceramic protection that's easy. So yeah, I stick that on it, and usually I put turtle wax over the top of it, and it has big thick layers of that. So, and I left it ages between coats, because obviously I did I think it was the black first, and then I did the red, and then there's a clear coat over the top which is petrol resistant. Probably haven't got any left. So what, how long ago I used them? Look, disgusting. Yeah, I don't think I've got any left. Was that it? Pro XL. Pro XL. I don't think it's that particular one. It's more of a gloss finish than a satin. So I had that on it, and I left it to cure for weeks in my dining room. My missus loved it. But that's the tank, which is gorgeous. As I say, I'm terrified of scratching it, terrified of spilling petrol on it and actually burning through. I have had small dollops of petrol on it which have had no effect on it, but I'm still terrified even 2 years later. There was a big part went missing here. I don't know whether someone at work scratched it out, because it just looked like it was scratched out. I couldn't find any of my clothing or my bags that could have caused it. So I put these tank protectors on to hide the hole in the paintwork. I'm still terrified to clamp the tank with my knees in case I scratch it. Strange. Yes, I did build the subframe. That's all my work. That's all my paintwork as well, even with all the cracking in it. I don't know why it reacted, but I quite like the turtle shell look. Not so keen on this effect on the red, but I'm quite okay with that, and I purposely put the turtle wax in there and don't get it out properly, so it emphasises it a bit more. Hopefully you can see that really nicely. But yes, I built that, and the cowl, which also is the under tray and everything. That's all one sheet of metal down the sides, across the under tray at the bottom and up the other side, welded into this lattice work frame, which I welded and has survived. And I'm not a welder. You can probably see I'm definitely not a welder. I'm not that good with a grinder either. You can probably see that as well. But yes, that is all my own work, and let's get the key. It still works off the old locking system, which I installed on it. That seat, I made the seat as well. That's why it's so dimply and rimply. It's a lot more comfortable than it looks. I'd let you see the underneath, but it's a bit of a mess. Oh! So yeah, that's the tray. The back cowling is held on by 4 screws, 2 there and 2 in the back there. That's the original locking system that I bracketed up, and it's very tight in there. And there's the regulator rectifier, which has been in there years. I don't know how many years ago I did this, but it's been in there years and has caused me no grief with overheating or melting cables or anything. I did have a main one chafe into the tray down this side, but the regulator rectifiers, I've not had it burn out or anything. And these earlier GSXRs are quite prone for their charging systems, so that's going really well at the moment. What else have I done to it? Little bracket for the reservoir, made that. Nothing astonishing, just a bit of stainless steel. Cut the exhaust down by over half and re-riveted, and it's got a sort of pretend baffle, which is that big. Does quieten it down the tiniest amount. What else we got? Custom lights. These are expensive. I think these were something ridiculous, like 50 quid each. As are these tiny little indicators, but they're so bright, they're beautiful. Hang on a minute. Excuse the cardigan, it's cold in here and it doesn't go very well with my work shorts. So as I say, they're super bright, and I think that's hence the expense of them. And turn them off. And so's the rear lights look fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Suit it really well and sit in there really well. You must agree. You must. Wheels were powder coated by a firm up at Uckfield, near J&S Accessories or whatever it's called, the bike gear store. Just down the road, same industrial estate, just down the road from there. People warned me about them, but they did the job when they said they was going to do it, and to a beautiful standard. They are a little bit disgusting at the moment. They haven't got the usual gorgeous shine. A bit filthy. Been commuting on it. In the rain as well. I'm disgusting. What else have we got? So, oh, the number plate holder. That's off the axle. Little bit of a pain when you want to adjust the chain, but I don't adjust the chain that often, so that's not really a big issue. What else? I suppose the biggest question I usually get, let's pull that forward a bit, is about electronics and stuff. This is a, no, it's got to go further forward. There you go. This is a Cosso Speedo. I think it's a DBO one or something. I've put up videos about wiring it in. It's not the most difficult. People are more interested about where I put the wires. Obviously, when you've got the fairing and everything on, you've got a huge fuse box and wiring and everything. I think it's up here, isn't it, in the headlamp sort of area, if I remember rightly, or is it the other side? But you've got that big dollop of fuses and that. That's actually in the airbox. Cut a little cut a little hole into the airbox, and it is just sat underneath the air filter in the airbox, and I've had no issues with it at all. Perhaps all fuse boxes should be air cooled by your air scoops. But yeah, that just sits in there. I did have a few beers before I cut the wiring loom down, because you end up with a massive bit. I'll stand you there. You end up with a massive bit sort of from back here somewhere right forward to the lights up here. So you can cut all of that out. You didn't really see that, did you? I'm trying to do this in one shoot, so I ain't got to mess about with editing. That's how lazy I am. Yeah, so the loom I cut off back here somewhere and took off this great loop along here, and then soldered all the wires back together to make a short loom, which sits just in there between the frame and the airbox, and it's tight. It is tight. And then, as I say, the fuse box itself sits in the airbox. Very creative. What else we got? Fitted heated grips. They work really well. Better than the R&G ones. Twice the money. I don't know whether they're twice as good, but they are definitely better than the R&G ones, which I've fitted to my other two bikes. Ignition's down here. This is the wrong side for the ignition. I did a GSXR 600 mutilation, and I put the ignition the other side, which is a lot more user friendly when you're walking up to the bike, rather than having to lean down so far because you're on the side stand to do this. Probably reinvent it the other side. I think the reason I went this side, because there wasn't really the room this side. Yeah, I could probably get it in there, but at the time the easy option was this side. I had it up on a paddock stand, so it made perfect sense until I leaned it over onto the side stand, and it's like, that's a bit low. But it's on there, and it works, as you can see, because it's all lit up. What else we got? Shorty levers, mirrors. Definitely need mirrors. I can't do with the bar end ones. I couldn't find any that would fold underneath here and still give me as good a view as these, which don't give me the best of views, but they give me something. I don't like the ones that come up here, because generally my hands are sort of there, and I find the bar end mirror cramps my hand right in. I end up sort of being sort of a bit spasticated. No offence if you are spasticated. That's about it really. I feel as though I've done a lot more than that. That's quite a lot though, isn't it? I've done all the paintwork and everything, and the cowley bit, and yeah. But that is, in its condition now, I think that is about 2 years old, perhaps a bit longer. And it's so much fun. Trouble is, I've got old and terrified of losing licenses and getting caught and all the rest of it, so I'm quite the tart on it now. I was just starting to do some nice wheelies and stuff on it, and yeah, I've bottled it now. That's better. It's a bit foggy. There are chips and dinks in it. Obviously I'm going to get that. Oh, I've just renewed these for the MOT, the old gaiters on the front forks, because obviously the mudguard doesn't protect your lower forks, stanchions, whatever you want to call them. Bill, Ben, Mavis, up to you. So I put gaiters on there, which there's a video in there. So, Mr. Rossi, who's a neighbour of mine, I hope that helps and gives you an insight into what you was asking, and gives you at least some idea of what I've done and why I've done it. Oh yeah, Spider-Man header tank, expansion tank. I think it's just a header tank, isn't it? In it blood. Let's just get Mr. Rossi up here. Kind of neighbours, trading his Blackbird in for a K3 on Thursday. That's tomorrow. Good luck with that. I've built a 7-Eleven in the past. I don't really know what a 7-Eleven is, apart from the convenience store. And he fancied doing a K3, K4, and he likes my K1/K2. Well, it is. I think it's a K2, but it's on an 03 plate. So there's bits that overlap the eras, so you've got to be careful when you're ordering stuff. Did you make the subframe? Yes. Handlebars, we discussed that, 29.5 to 30 inches wide, without bar ends, don't forget. As I filtered up to Tesco's, that'll be at Homebush. Another question, please, your round headlight. Answered that as well. Showed you where I got it, and it's 29 quid. It's really not. If you're going out at night, it ain't a daylight maker. It ain't a daylight maker in the day, let alone at night. But it looks good. I like the look of it. Where's it? So you've got the two LEDs, which is on your park light, and then you've got the main. It could do with being cleaned, actually. It is a hard plastic, if that makes any difference. And then the whole thing lights up. It sort of looks bright on the camera. It does on the little screen I'm watching it, but it really isn't. I went down a country lane and I had it on full beam, and nobody coming the other way flashed me. That's how bright it is. And it's not particularly set to the floor either. It's higher than it should be. But yeah, there you go. It's that's my Gixxer, and it's called mediocre because that's about my workmanship level. Strive for perfection, but I can deal with mediocrity. And here is, where's the starter button? Over here. Oh, it's all round the wrong way when you're doing it from the front. I love the sound of it, and it's still got its exhaust valve on. I'm not sure whether it actually works. I'm pretty sure it's not seized, but it does sound lovely. It's not too loud to annoy the neighbours when I start it up in the morning and leave it ticking over for 30 seconds to a minute to give it some oil and heat through it. But once you get going, it really does scream. It's beautiful. I love it. So thanks for asking questions about it, because I do like answering them. I need some discs. My little washers behind my bobbins have died, so I've got rattly disc. It's more of an annoyance than life-threatening, I believe. But that's about it. You know, this is all cheap fittings, and they've all gone rusty, and you know, sometimes I think, oh, it's disgusting, and other times I think, do you know what, I don't mind a bit of patinaed look. I'm not searching for perfection, which is lucky, really. But yes, as I say, thanks for asking the questions. Any more questions, feel free to ask. And, well, Mr. Rossi, or Mrs. Rossi, or Miss Rossi, or you might be non-binary. Who knows these days? There's so many different sexes. There's not just male and female. It's so complicated. I'm too old for it. Let's just go back to man and woman. Yeah, thanks for asking the questions. Anything else, drop us a line. Not a problem. And there's plenty of videos. I think they're all in the GSXR playlist. And if they don't answer your questions, ask away. But I'll tell you now, it's a while since I've done the work on it, so I might not be able to answer them as fluently as you'd like, but I will try. Anyway, good luck with your project, and bang some videos up. Get some videos up on your channel, and let's have a look at it. Anyway, apart from that, it's a bit chilly out here, so I'm going indoors. Thanks for watching. Catch you again later. Ta-ra.